We are here in St. Paul's. We are here in English Harbour. And we are here to support the candidacy of Nambalumba Nambalala Adams, the standard bearer for the United Progressive Party. And I'm telling you tonight, my dear good people, I don't care what the others say. I know that Nambalala Adams, the UPP candidate in St. Paul's, will carry this constituency for the United Progressive Party. Because Adams represents the heart and soul of the United Progressive Party. He was there from the beginning. He has been a fighter. He has been deeply entrenched in the bowels of the United Progressive Party. He has played his part. He has represented this constituency well. He may not satisfy the wishes, the hopes, and aspirations of every individual, but in the context of the times, he has delivered. For the constituency of St. Paul's, and more particularly, he has been part and parcel of the movement for change and development in Antigua and Barbuda under the banner of the United Progressive Party. And so, my dear good people in St. Paul's, and more particularly you in English Harbour, you have got to keep the faith. You have got to remain strong and resolute. You have got to ensure that the United Progressive Party is returned to office so that we can continue to do good for the vast majority of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And Mambalumba Nambalala Adams is an integral part of that. So when you go there, you are not only voting for Nambalumba Nambalala Adams, you are voting for the United Progressive Party, and you are voting for a secure and safe future for Antigua and Barbuda. And so, my dear good people in St. Paul's, I want to say to all of you, you have demonstrated in the past, and I have no doubt that you will do it again, because really and truly, there isn't much of a choice. There isn't much of a choice, my dear good people. You have not been called upon in St. Paul's to have any difficulty in determining who you should support. Because as far as the other one is concerned, fast talking, glib mouth, but that's about it. His record is there for everybody to see, know, and understand. And so, my dear good people, when you put the Antigua Labour Party representatives against the United Progressive Party representatives, my dear good people, in the final analysis, any reasonable thinking person, whether you are supportive of the United Progressive Party or not, must conclude that the United Progressive Party's team is far superior to the Antigua Labour Party team. In every aspect, my dear good people, we have presented to you for the elections 2014 a well-balanced team of individuals who are really and truly committed, a burning desire to do good for Antigua and Barbuda, not for self-aggrandizement, not for personal wealth, not for personal favors, but a genuine desire to make the quality of life of the people of Antigua and Barbuda better. And my dear good people, I want to say to you, from the position where I sit, your humble servant presides over a group of individuals who I know are totally committed to the people of Antigua and Barbuda and want to do the best for this country. And I urge the people of Antigua and Barbuda Because let me say this. Let me say this to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. These elections in 2014 are more crucial than they were even in 2004. I say this in the context of what you would see being mounted and spouted by the other side. Their behavior, their mannerism clearly demonstrates to anybody that it would be absolutely dangerous for Antigua and Barbuda to be entrusting their affairs in the hands of these people. Listen to them. Hear how they talk. That apart from coming with all kinds of scarum promises and all kinds of outright lies, the very way they are approaching these elections and this campaign would demonstrate to anybody, all and sundry, that it would spell danger for Antigua and Barbuda if we were to lose the key of our brains and say that we are going to be supporting the Antigua Labour Party at this time. So, my dear good people, you have a clear choice. It's whether you want to go back, as they're calling you to do, go back to the Labour Party, or whether you want to go forward with the United Progressive Party. That is the choice. And I wish to say to you, my dear good people, I wish to say to you that the real choice is to go forward with the United Progressive Party. My dear good people, we have had our challenges. We have had our difficulties. But Antigua and Barbuda right now is on the rebound. Antigua and Barbuda is turning the corner. We are beginning to see clearly now. We are on the road, my dear good people, of getting Antigua and Barbuda moving once again in the right direction and on the right track. And we can't afford to allow anybody to derail us now. Don't be fooled by the false promises that they come with. The United Progressive Party is the best thing since sliced bread for Antigua and Barbuda. I am not saying that because I happen to be the leader of this party and the current Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. I am saying this sincerely, deep down in my heart. It would be a travesty. It would be a great injustice. The people of Antigua and Barbuda would be doing themselves the greatest degree of harm if they were to give any serious consideration of putting the Antigua Labour Party back in power at this time in the crucial history of this nation. It should not happen, and it ought not to happen, and you must not allow it to happen. I am making a sincere appeal to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. I know what I'm talking about. And let me say this to you. One of the things that we have got to appreciate in this country, and I don't think we have, when we compare what has been happening, not only in the Caribbean and throughout the world, with all the crises that nations have been facing, small and large nations, middle-sized nations, and you look at Antigua and Barbuda and how we have been able to weather the storm, keep the ship of state afloat and moving in the right direction, my dear good people. I don't think that most Antiguans fully appreciate and understand the tremendous efforts that we have made as a government to keep this nation on the right track, keep this nation afloat. We have been given more credit for what we have done in Antigua and Barbuda by other nations, other countries, agencies, international bodies. When they look at Antigua and Barbuda and how we have been able to stick with it, ensure that our people first philosophy is maintained, while at the same time doing things that are in the best interest of Antigua and Barbuda to keep this nation going and moving forward. We have been given tremendous credit, and I don't want to take any personal credit, because whatever accolades that I would have received regionally and internationally, it's not because of me, Baldwin Spencer. It is because of you, the people of Antigua and Barbuda, who have bestowed your confidence in me and who have given me the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of the people of Antigua and Barbuda, and by extension, what we have been able to do on the regional and international scene, returning respect and respectability to Antigua and Barbuda, restoring our image in the eyes of the international community, doing things that are good, where Antigua and Barbuda is constantly being quoted, constantly being asked for its views and opinions on important regional and international issues. So, my dear good people, you have had a good government. You have had a good government. We have not been able to solve all the problems. We have not been able to do everything for everybody. But as I always say, we have done the greatest good for the greatest number of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Whether you are at kindergarten, whether you are middle-aged, whether you are the elderly, every sect and segment of this society has been impacted positively by the plans and programs and projects and policies of the United Progressive Party. The record is there. You can examine it for yourself. And in difficult and trying times, we have been able to do that. And we're taking Antigua and Barbuda upwards and forwards. All you have to make sure is that you do what is right when the time comes. And I just want to say to you, I know you've been waiting. I know you've been anxiously waiting. I know some may have become a little impatient. But you don't have to tarry much too long from now. You will hear what you want to hear soon. You understand? And I know by the time the gong knock, right, we are going home. We are coming out of the stables and we will be moving forward. Trampling home, my dear good people. And so I want you to bear that in mind. Well, it's really like it's at the side pocket now. We're moving from the back. It's in the side pocket, right? But in the next 48 hours, it will be. It will be. All right. You know it will be. Okay, my dear good people. So you have to gear up yourself. We know you're ready, but you have to recharge. When you get it, you have to recharge, my dear good people, because we are going home. We are going home because, my dear good people, the Almighty God is willing this to us. I sincerely believe that. This nation needs the United Progressive Party no more than ever. It's a question of saving this country from the vultures. It's a question of saving this country from being in the hands of grabbers, not leaders, not people who are really interested in development of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Here they're talking about rebuilding. The only thing they want to rebuild is their bank account. That is the only thing that they want to rebuild. We can't afford to have that. We cannot afford to have a situation where these individuals are prepared to plunder Social Security, plunder medical benefits, plunder education levy, plunder anything there. The people's institutions that have been set up to take care of the people, and they're prepared to plunder. And they don't tell you that they will do it again. So you have to guard against that, my dear good people. You have got to understand what the real issues are. You have got to make a clear and unequivocal stand as Antiguans and Barbudans as to where you stand in this issue. So I want to urge all you wonderful people who have been rallying, you have got to carry the message. As I always say, right? It is not over until the fat lady sings, as the Americans would say. So we still have our work to do. Yes, we do not intend to lose, but we have to make sure that we can't lose. You understand what I'm saying? And the only way that you can do that is to make sure that you mobilize, organize, coordinate, do everything that is to be done, so that come election day, by 12 o'clock on election day, we should be in a position to call the election for the United Progressive Party. You hear me? You understand what I'm saying? That is how we must plan. That is how we must do it. And as we said in 2004, early out, but this time is not vote them out. Early out, keep them out. Early out, keep them out. So my dear good people, that is the charge. That is the refrain. That is what we have to do. This is very serious business. I'm telling you, I have been thinking about this thing for the past several months, particularly how these people have been behaving, particularly the attitudes that I see coming through. It has nothing to do with the real future of Antigua and Barbuda. It has to do with them grabbing power. When you look at Gaston Brown, his arrogance, his dictatorial attitude, his autocratic behavior, I mean, the guy is just rude and obnoxious. I am telling you, he's a dangerous character. No wonder he resembles Hitler. When you look at him closely, you see the image of Hitler coming right through. And everybody knows what Hitler inflicted, not only on his people in Germany, but on the world. And so you have got to understand what we're talking about. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. And when you have the combination of Gaston Brown, Asset Michael, and then you have the Chet Greens of this world, and the Maureen Josephs and all that bunch of them, oh my Lord. We have to pray. We have to pray. We must pray, make sure that the Lord helps us through this, because we cannot afford, we just cannot afford to have that kind of situation in this country. And so, my dear good people, I want to reassure you that the United Progressive Party will ensure that this country, your country, our country, will be in safe and sane hands going forward with the United Progressive Party. And so, my dear good people, I don't want you to have any mistake about this. Your humble servant, some people don't like to hear this, but your humble servant, I will repeat it, I have my head on. When the date is to be called, it will be called. And I don't care all the threats that the other day make some threat. By the 8th of, you remember? By the 8th of May, if you don't know, though we come again. He said, oh, if by next week, we're doing this and we're doing that. I keep telling you, my dear good people, some people say I'm humble and I'm soft and I'm not aggressive. But let me tell you, when I have a position, I have a position. And it's very difficult, extremely difficult, even with my calmness and my humility and my so-called softness. A lot of people misread my situation. But let me tell you, you having me a person that is not quick to action. I usually take my time, weigh the situation up, and then make my decision. And more often than not, my dear good people, thank God, more often than not, I'm right. And so, my dear good people, I want to say to all of us that we have a duty to perform, and that duty is to ensure that we encourage all our friends, all our neighbors, and sometimes even individuals who you would consider to be on the other side. I believe that the time has now come for us to be able to convince a number of these people that they have to be on the right side of history, that they have to be on the right side of Antigua and Barbuda, and join forces with the United Progressive Party to keep this country on the right track, moving in the right direction, in an atmosphere where you have a country that is safe and secure with the leadership of the United Progressive Party. That is all I wish to say to you tonight. And I wish to say to all the people in St. Paul's, and more particularly those of you in English Harbour, I want to say I love the people of St. Paul because they've always proved the pundits wrong. They've always proved the pundits wrong, and they're going to prove it again because you are a sensible people. You understand what the issues are. You appreciate the situation. You know right from wrong. You know what is better for this country. And therefore, in order for you to be on the side of right and history, then you have to support the United Progressive Party. And Alistair Nambalumala Adams is the individual who is carrying the weight and the banner of the United Progressive Party in St. Paul. So, my dear good people, I think we've had a wonderful rally out here tonight. I want to thank you very much for coming from all corners of the island to join us here in support of Adams. And of course, you know I can't end without my refrain. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm not hearing you. Are you ready? Are we going to win the election? Are we going to win the election? Yes! 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 We have them! We have them! We have them again! Thank you very much for coming out. Do have a safe journey home. May God continue to bless Antigua and Barbuda. May God continue to bless the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Thank you very much for coming out. Take it low.